think you should have a hard time explaining what you do. If you can be defined easily, then you hate your life. I wanted to be a police officer and a baseball player. I don't believe in bucket lists. I think it's your excuse list. Let's go. Get in the time machine. This is it. It's happening.
Yeah, that is happening. Thank you very much for joining the podcast. It's exciting to see you as a guest. You know, when I was preparing for the interview, I was thinking, how should I introduce Evan? Do I say entrepreneur, internet personality, motivational speaker, author? So when people ask you what you do, how do you answer it?
So here's the thing. I don't like small talk. I don't do networking. The way that I build my business is I kick up a whole bunch of noise, and then people recognize me and they come to me. So they already have some context. Now, you may not have the whole story, or you have some questions, or you've seen 2 of my videos, you don't know the whole story. That's okay. Then we can go deeper. But some random person on the street says, hey, what's your occupation? I would probably just say entrepreneur.
Okay. Good to know.
I think you should have a hard time explaining what you do.
Like anyone? Like I'm a banker.
Anyone?
So hard.
Yeah. I think that's good. I think that's right. I think if you can be defined easily, then you hate your life.
Okay, that's a good perspective. So you basically saying most of the people in the world pretty much hate their lives. Meaning
For sure. I think most of the people in the world. Where are you based?
San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, I just came from San Francisco. I'm on my way right now to. We leave Sacramento. We're going to Salt Lake City right now. But 95% of America wakes up and drives to a job that they hate.
Really, it's
like people hate their lives.
Terrifying statistics. Yeah. Not really good. So
people hate their lives.
You currently on the tour, BelieveTour, right, across America?
Yep.
And it's your first tour, I believe. Is it correct?
Yes, it's kind of a crazy tour. It's 90 days. So it's a quarter of the year, 23 cities.
Wow.
Yeah, so bigger tour than what rock bands do.
Well, you also written several books, right? And I think the latest one, Your One Word, I checked the reviews on Amazon, and it's pretty amazing. It has like 95% of 5 stars and 5% of 4 stars and nothing below. And I've never seen this kind of ratings before for any book. What is the book about? Why are people so excited about it?
Well, that's it's great. I have a loyal fan base, I guess, who liked the book and wanted to share it. It's had an impact on a lot of people, which is amazing. I'm in the process of writing my next book that should be out in December. I'm hoping December 6th is how I usually release my books. And yeah, it's worth a read. If somebody is struggling to figure out, I think everybody has one most important core value as a human. If you're a human, you have a core value that's more important than the others. And when you figure that out, it allows you to live a life. And for the entrepreneurs, build the business by design instead of us what other people think of you and living somebody else's version of your life.
Understand. Got it. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I would definitely check it out. So, Evan, what I want to do next is I want to learn about you as a person, not just not the person who I see on YouTube, not based on the videos, but I want to look into your background, and I want to go all the way back to your childhood.
All the way back. Let's go. Get in the time machine. This is it. It's happening.
Yeah, that is happening. So where were you born and grew up?
So I was born on May 20, 1980 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And I've grown up in Canada my whole life. I've had the good fortune of traveling a whole bunch, seeing the world, but I still think Canada is the best country in the world to live in. So after this tour, we're slowly making our way back to Canada.
Nice. You think Canada is the best place, but you tour in the United States? Good, good. Very nice. So were you the only child in the family, or you had siblings?
I have 2 sisters, one older, one younger. One of them actually lives in the Bay Area, close to you.
Oh, nice.
San Mateo.
Very close.
So got a chance to go see her. We connect a couple times a year typically, so it's good to see her when I was in town and go to where'd we go? Old Spaghetti Factory or something like that? Cheesecake Factory, that's what it was. Cheesecake Factory.
Spaghetti is close enough. And which one of you was a troublemaker when you guys were growing up? So usually there is one.
Probably me. I got into trouble the most. I was the only boy. I had two sisters. I was in the middle, and I think I was a troublemaker. Although all three of us are weird ducks. I think our parents really encouraged us to do whatever we wanted. My mom was born in Italy,
Oh,
moved to
wow.
Canada when she was young, and her parents were more old school Italian of being more controlling and you have to do this and you have to do that, and especially for a woman, the old school Italian way for what a woman should do is very different than what my mom wanted to do, and so she broke free and did her own thing, and I think as a result really wanted to encourage her kids, meaning me and my two sisters, to do whatever we wanted. And luckily, my parents had very few enforced, rules of what we had to do in the eyes of society. And so all three of us went off to do really different things. And it's a credit to my parents.
It's interesting. Like one of the questions I wanted to ask is how your parents influenced you, and it seems like this is one of the things that they basically gave you a freedom of doing what you like to do, right?
Yeah, there's that, definitely. I think my one word is believe, and I want people to feel like they should believe in themselves more. It's always my intention, whether I accomplish it or not. But that comes from my parents. Anytime I didn't do well in school or in any situation, they tell me, "You're Evan Castrelli Carmichael. You could do anything that you believe you can." And so that was a constant, reinforced pattern in my life growing up. And I think with different parents, I would have been different. But
So,
I'm super grateful for them, for the confidence and the belief.
so what did you want to be when you grew up? Like, given this type of environment where you were pretty much given the freedom, more or less.
Yeah, I wanted to be a police officer and a baseball player.
Okay.
So I like baseball. We used to listen to a baseball game. We had a cottage that was 3 hours outside of our city. And so we used to drive every weekend. We always timed it around the baseball game going up. So I became a hardcore Toronto Blue Jays baseball fan. And I wanted to be a baseball player. I'm talking really young, like when I was 8, 9, 10, 11. I wanted to be a baseball player. And then since you don't play all year round, I thought, okay, I'll be a police officer in the winter and a baseball
Part
player
time.
in the summer.
That's
Yeah,
good.
part time. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, and then as I got older, if you go into like high school years, when you maybe start to get a little more practical, or you start actually thinking about what a job would be, I wanted to be a banker. I thought banking was my thing. I always liked money. I played the banker when playing Monopoly. I was always the banker, and I thought when they ask you in your high school yearbook where you're going to be in 10 years, mine was VP at a bank.
Okay,
And
so I'm a
yeah,
VP at the bank. So if they ask you, you would say I wanted to be Aznaur. Well, I guess you didn't go that path, right? I look at your biography, and one of the reasons why I was very interested in you, Evan, is there are quite a few people, like internet personality, motivational speakers, who um, teach lessons, but I'm not really sure about their backgrounds because I look back and I can't see information. You, on the other hand, you built your first company when you were 19 years old, right?
yep.
Tell us about that company.
So it was a biotech software company. The hardest decision I ever had to make in my life was when I was 19, and I had job opportunities to work with McKinsey Consulting and Merrill Lynch,
Wow.
investment banking,
Hmm.
and those were dream jobs for me. Merrill Lynch was going to be in Asia, and I'd be traveling around the world and doing M&A activities and making 100K a year starting, and that was what I thought I wanted to do. And then I had an opportunity to join a startup company where I was going to take 30% of the company and make $300 a month.
Hmm.
And that was the toughest decision because I thought I wanted to be a banker, and all my friends wanted these banking jobs. And being in the university system, they try to, at least at that time, really train you to go get a job, and that's what everybody wanted to do. And I think also my parents just being supportive of me no matter what. I decided, you know what? I don't want to live with regret. I would rather know and fail than not know. And I could always get another job in a year. So I said, I'll give myself a year. It may not be the same job. It may not be Merrill Lynch. It may not be Asia. It may not be, as fancy as it is now, but I could get another job in investment banking. So let me just give a run at this business and see how it goes, because otherwise I think I'm going to regret it. And so I said yes. And it was biotech software. At the time, science is still my worst subject. It was my worst subject in school. I dropped it as soon as I could. I think grade 9. As soon as you can drop science, I did. I don't have a background in technology. I'm not a techie computer guy, programmer. I didn't understand any of that stuff. It was really hard at the beginning because I had no idea what I was doing. But the way that got me through was coming from the worst day of my life. I told my business partner that I quit.
Oh,
So I was 20, probably with 20. I told my business partner I quit because we weren't having success. I was working every day, struggling, eating the same bean salad for lunch every day, and just it wasn't working. If I wasn't putting in the effort, you can understand. Like, you're not going to
yeah,
get abs if you're not doing the work. But I was
obviously.
doing the work and I wasn't getting results, and so I was frustrated. And so I just said I quit. Like, I need to feel like I'm a valuable human being. Like, I'm just this sucks. And then I cried, worst night of my life. Just hearing me say that I quit on something I cared about was not who I thought I was. And I woke up the next day and I said, you know what? I can't quit because I still haven't given it everything, but I can't keep doing it the way that I've been doing it. Something has to change. This isn't working, obviously. And so I said, I can't be the first guy to try to build a software company. So who's done this that I can learn from? And the first guy that I thought of was Bill Gates, who
Mhm.
started Microsoft. And I didn't know anything about Bill Gates, and I know that he wasn't in biotech software, my industry, but it was software. It was close enough. And so I researched Bill Gates' story, learned how he started Microsoft 0 to 1, like not how he makes an extra $1 million now, but 0 to 1. How did he do it? And applied that to my business, and pretty soon had my first deal for $13,500.
Oh, how exciting,
And
huh?
yeah, man. I mean, it may not seem like a lot of money now, but to me, when you're making $300 a month and you get a deal for 13,500, that I just won the lottery, and it gave me hope, and it made me feel like, holy cow, this is possible. And I had a path now that I could do it again. I can close more deals. And so eventually, I just did deal after deal after deal. We started growing. We closed NASA and Johnson and some big clients,
Oh,
and
wow.
then fairly quickly after got acquired. And all of a sudden, I was 22, and then didn't have a business anymore. So I woke up like, what am I going to do next? And and that's when I started helping out entrepreneurs.
So, what was the most important lessons you've learned from that experience?
The two that come to mind are I don't want to live with regret. And that actually
Mhm.
came a year prior when I was 18, when I was in Paris. I learned that lesson, and I still apply it every time now. Like if I'm stressed out, or if I'm worried, or if I'm anxious about something, like if I was nervous to come on this podcast, I would say I'm going to regret it if I don't go on the podcast. I have to go.
Were you nervous at
Or if,
all?
I was more excited than nervous. So like, this is gonna be good,
Already, already.
right? And then
Yes.
the other one is modeling success, right? Bill Gates saved my company, even though I've never met him. And for anybody who's familiar with my channel, that's all I've done for now for the past. I don't know. I started my YouTube channel 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago. Uh, And so it's all of my videos. A lot of the content is sharing the lessons from other successful entrepreneurs. And I learned that because of my massive pain and frustration, and then eventually learning from Bill Gates. And now I want to help other people model success as well.
Tell me the background of that decision of starting the YouTube. Did you wake up one day and decided, okay, I need to start shooting the videos and putting them on YouTube? Was it the idea, and was it more like a hobby, or you looked at that as a business already?
Yeah, so I love testing stuff. I
Mhm.
love testing stuff. I love just, I call it the 2% difference, where instead of, most people when they come up with a goal, they'll start planning and planning and planning and planning, like planning how to get to 100%. And then you wake up tomorrow a different person, and then you don't feel bold and you never act on it. And so we're stuck with all these plans and then no action. So I call the 2% difference in that I just, when I get an idea, try to find a way to get 2% of the way done. So the first step isn't planning. The first step is action. The first step is action. And so I just started. Like, I got an idea for a YouTube video, so I'm just going to make a YouTube video. And then I liked it. So I said, okay, I'm going to make another one. And so I kept going. It's like when you're dating, you don't go on one date and then marry the person, at least typically. Some people might. But at least typically, like, the goal of the first date is to see if you want to go on a second date. If you put so much pressure on it that this has to be the person you marry, then it's not going to be, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I just started. It was an idea, and I tried lots of stuff, and most of the things I try never work out. But you have an idea, trust that it comes from somewhere, just do something about it, and then see if you enjoyed the process, even though you expect the results to suck.
Got it. So the people who you typically, whose rules of success you typically feature, come from so
Yeah.
different backgrounds, right? How do you choose who to
Mhm.
feature next?
I pick based off of two things: what people are asking me for, combined with what I'm interested in myself. So
Mhm.
any successful business, that's going to be the combination. It's got to be what there's a demand for, plus what you like doing. And so people leave comments all the time to say, hey, can you do this person? And can you do that person? And a lot of these people I've never heard of, which is amazing. I get exposure to all sorts of new people. And then I have to see, okay, can I find enough? I need to learn from them. Can I find enough from this person that I've learned so that I can say, yes, this has my stamp of approval. I've learned something, so I think you guys can too. So I'm basically doing the work to filter through the content and DJ the messages so that instead of you having to watch 8 hours of footage on Elon Musk, here's his best 15 minutes of nuggets.
It's tremendous amount of work, I'm assuming. Like, and I don't know how you do it for by yourself or who helps you, but you guys do amazing job. I mean, my wife knew about this channel even though she was back in Russia. It was crazy. When I told her that I'm gonna be interviewing you, she's like, "Yeah, I know him." Like, of course, not interesting. So, Evan, what are the 10 rules of success of Evan Carmichael?
Wow, I don't know that I can go 10 deep. I guess I could. We can go forever on this podcast. I think number one is going to be believe for me. Like, you have to believe in what you're doing. It's my one word. It's my most important core value. I've seen it over and over and over again in that so many people have great abilities, but because they don't believe in themselves, they never go off and do anything. Meanwhile, there's other people who are dummies who just start and they think they can do it, and they make something happen. It's
Mhm.
crazy how many talented people are just sitting on the sidelines, never take action because they're being perfectionists and they don't believe in themselves. And so I'm trying to inject people with daily belief because I think it's the most important thing. If I had to pick a couple more, I would say two. You just need to find a way to get started. Back to the 2% difference. Idea to action. As soon as you get an idea, do something about it. Trust the idea comes from somewhere, and then just do something about it while you're still in the zone. I think we come up with these great ideas when we're feeling bold and confident and unstoppable. You say, I want to go off and do this amazing thing. You believe you can, but then you wake up tomorrow a different person. And so you have to build momentum while you're feeling bold and confident. You have to take immediate action as soon as you get an idea. So idea to action. And then if I had to pick a third one, I would say learning to inoculate yourself against judgment. So you stop caring as much about what other people think of you. Because if you want to be an entrepreneur, what do? We disrupt the status quo. We do things that are different than normal. And so in doing that, you're going to have people who don't like it. Right? The people who want to protect the status quo, they like the status quo. So then they don't like you. Even if you're a great person, like they don't even know you and they're going to hate on you. And so the more that you live your life according to other people's opinions, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. So let me go with those. Those are my top three right now.
Okay, let's keep them at three. So I saw your recent post on Instagram where people would choose 5 entrepreneurs or business leaders for their teams,
Yeah.
and I was wondering who would be your 5 people if you had to choose.
Wow, that is tough. I would pick AP Giannini. He's my favorite entrepreneur of all time. Founder of Bank of America.
Hmm.
I would pick for different roles, right? So I'd pick my parents,
Oh wow, yeah.
even though they're not entrepreneurs, but just for kind of heart and soul, kind of human, how to be a human, which I think is important. I'm thinking about the people I have on my wall actually behind me. I pick Steve Jobs. I'd pick Howard Schultz, and I'd pick Kanye West. Those are my 5.
Wow,
Well,
Kanye
I guess
West was
6.
unexpected.
Well, you need the wild dog. Like the great thing about Kanye, there's a lot of stuff that Kanye does that you might not agree with or seems crazy, but there's one interview in particular that I love from him where he's on a radio station and he's like, I don't want to sit inside of a corporation for the next 30 years. The time is now. The time is now to go off and do it. Right now, go. And the very first top 10 that I did on my channel was Kanye West. Just as a test. It wasn't even I'm going to build my whole thing around top 10 rules of success. It was a one-off because a friend of mine was attacking Kanye. And I said, you know what? You can attack him, but you can also learn from him. And so I made the first top 10 on Kanye so that my friend Mark would hopefully learn from him.
Did he
And then
learn?
thankfully, he did. He learned, and he put a comment to say, hey, you can learn a lot from Kanye West. And if you go look at that video, my friend's name was Mark, you'll see it's the #1 comment. It's the most liked comment, thumbs up comment on that video. But I did it, there's a great story of John Legend. You know John Legend?
Yes, of
Singer?
course.
Yeah. So John Legend, his real name is John Stevens.
Hmm.
And him and Kanye are friends, which already seems a little weird because John Legend seems to be like the nicest human of all
Yes.
time. And then how is he friends with Kanye West? It just seems weird. But when they were younger, they were in a bar in Chicago, and John Stevens says, I have a really old school voice. Like I feel like my voice belongs in an older era than right now. And Kanye says, yeah, you're right. You should call yourself the legend. And John Stevens says, I can't call myself the legend, right? Like what if I don't make it? What if I don't have success? And Kanye convinced him to call himself the legend. And so John Legend, that's how John Legend was born. And so stuff like that. People don't know that story.
I did not.
At least
No.
most people don't know that story. Some people do, I guess. But that's belief, right? For me, that's belief. That's believing in somebody, and I love it. So I said, you know what? I want to tell this side of people too. So it doesn't mean that Kanye West has to be your God and he's the greatest human of all time. It just means that you can learn something from him. And your goal should never be to be the next anybody, right? Like I like being a visionary like Steve Jobs, but I don't want to be a father like Steve Jobs,
Yeah,
right? So
obviously.
you take different things from different people. And so that's what I wanted to learn things from Kanye, even though there's a lot of things that I may not want to pull from Kanye.
Got it. So Evan, so what I have next is a quick blitz. I'm gonna ask you a question, you give me a quick answer. Don't need
I love
to
it.
think too much, okay? So what's
Okay.
your favorite movie?
Seabiscuit.
Your favorite movie star?
Oh, movie star. Stallone. It's weird.
Favorite
Stallone.
singer or
I know
band?
Robert De Niro. Robert De
De
Niro.
Niro, okay, yeah. Favorite singer or band?
Favorite singer or band? Eminem.
Oh, nice. Favorite song?
Lose Yourself.
Ah, look at that. Favorite book? Outside of yours?
Uh, Radicals and Visionaries.
Favorite sports to watch, if at all?
Baseball. Well, esports. Can I do esports?
Sure, it's a sport, right? Has word
League,
sport
League,
in it.
League of Legends. League of Legends.
Okay. Favorite historical figure?
Does AP Giannini count?
Obviously, yeah.
All right. AP Giannini.
Your favorite country to visit?
Ooh.
So sounds like Italy, right? You have all this Italian favorite actor, favorite entrepreneur. Okay, I'm not gonna push you
Right?
that direction, but
Interesting. Well, I never made that connection, but I am half Italian. My mom was born in Italy. Favorite country to visit so far? Maybe, yeah, we could do Italy. We'll go
oh,
Italy. Why not?
here we go. Your favorite quote?
Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Got it. The first item on your bucket list.
I don't believe in bucket lists. I think it's your excuse list.
Here we go. So the final question. So what advice would you pass down to young people today?
Believe in yourself more.
That's simple.
Oh, I thought we were going simple. You want me to go deeper?
No, I mean it's perfect. I think it's
Oh,
fantastic.
okay. Okay,
Evan,
great.
Evan, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it, and it was fantastic to have you on the podcast and learn more
Thank
about
you,
you.
man. Yeah, and thank you for the different questions. I liked it. You know, I do a lot of podcasts, and it's often similar questions. So I like the different twists and turns that you took me down. So
Well,
appreciate you.
If you want to book a one-on-one interview with me for your channel, I promise I'm going to give you the best energy, motivation, ideas, strategies that I have. I have a free and a paid option. Go check out the link right there next to me to book your time. I'll see you there.